Hello! Welcome to my portion of the presentation. I'm going to be talking about the best pedagogical practices for teaching STEM. So this is really just the ways to teach STEM that are going to benefit the students the most, allow them to get the most out of their STEM education, and really just allow them to engage and be awesome STEM students. So yeah. So the first one is interdisciplinary project-based learning with real-world application. So this is a lot of fancy words in it. But to break it down, the interdisciplinary part is teaching the STEM subjects as combinations and not as individual subjects. So a lot of times it gets broken down into science, technology, engineering, and math, and you have to teach each one specifically, which is not the best way to do it. Students that benefit the most have teachers that are able to tie STEM standards in with maths, or science standards in with math standards, and technology standards. They're able to work them together with each other and then with other outside standards as well, bringing in writing standards, bringing in reading standards, that kind of thing. So making it more just across all of the disciplines, all of the subjects, to where it's not just one subject that's being focused on. So teachers that are able to fully succeed in that or get really quality STEM instruction for their students. This is something that can kind of be really daunting, but when you really look at it, there's a lot of standards that lend to each other and lend working together when you make it projects, which leads into the next part. Project-based learning is all about having hands-on experiences, allowing students to really engage with their learning and have control of their learning. One of the best ways to teach STEMs is to let students teach themselves and allow students to really engage with the material and figure out things and explore and discover on their own, and then as the educator, as the teacher, be there as the guide and support along the way. So that way they are able to really have that first contact with it, and then the teacher can come in and be like, hey, here's your extra support, here's the extra information that you need to really round out their understanding of the concept. So projects are anywhere from super simple ones that might require 2 or 3 different steps or divisions in it, to projects that take a couple months, the entire semester, even the entire year to complete. So there's really no limit to what project-based learning is, and it's so important for especially STEM-related teaching for students to have that hands-on interaction and to develop those processes and the skills that are needed to work in projects with groups. It's so important. And then with real-world application, so anytime that you're able to make a real-world application for a student, that their connection to the material is already so much greater than it would be if you weren't. That goes across for any teaching standard, any teaching subject. Especially with STEM, it's so relevant in the world around us. So when you're able to set up a project or a problem and give it a real world application, give it something that the students are able to connect it to, whether it's something in kindergarten and first grade about taking a bath and how things float in the bathtub, to upper grades and middle grades and like projects that are way more complex than I could think of at the moment, and just really going out there and really discovering something that is around the world around us, technology, cell phones, our environment. There's so many different things that can be connected to the real world. So allowing that students to make that connection, to have that connection, is quality STEM teaching. So yeah, so our second one is challenging goals with multiple opportunities to show and develop learning. So challenging goals is one of the things that, as a good STEM educator, as a good STEM teacher, you're allowing students to develop skills outside of just science, technology, engineering, and math. So challenging goals allows your students to learn how to achieve those goals, learn how to push themselves and overcome hurdles and work through problems that might come up with goals with academics, but that transfers over to life goals, and that's another life skill that STEM teaches students. And then just persevering through challenges. They're gonna have challenges in life. They're gonna face things that they're uncomfortable in, situations they're uncomfortable in, that just push them outside their comfort zone a little bit, and doing activities through STEM learning you're able to push them outside of their comfort zone a little bit, and they're able to have that experience in a controlled environment, so then when it happens in the real world, it's not as overwhelming. So challenging goals is huge. It also that part is also they can set their own goals, and by learning to set their own goals in an academic setting, that can transfer into a real world setting as well. Okay, so multiple opportunities to show and develop learning. To show learning, students have so many different ways of processing information in their brain. Some students are able to write a really well-crafted paper to demonstrate their understanding, while other students need to do a podcast to really show them verbally that they understand what's going on. Some students need to do artwork to show that. Some students need to do a presentation. There's so many different ways that students are capable of showing their work and showing their understanding that as a really quality STEM educator, you have to be able to provide students with that. That's providing choice boards, that's providing pathways and options for students to demonstrate that understanding. They can know the content and simply struggle in the presentation of the content, and then it looks like they don't know what they're doing. But if you provide students with options on how to demonstrate their understanding, it's going to be such a better experience for the student and such a better outcome in the long run of the understanding of the content. And then develop their learning. We all know students learn in a gazillion different ways. There's so many different ways for students to learn and understand material. So really providing STEM options that are surrounded with hands-on learning, visual learning, auditory learning, any type of learning you could possibly imagine. Incorporating those into STEM lessons is so important. You may learn one way, and you may have 5 students that learn the same way you do, where you have the other 7 students that don't, and they learn a completely different way. And as a quality STEM educator, you have to be able to go to those students and be like, how do you learn best? What do you need to do? Sometimes they know, sometimes they don't, and it's your job as the teacher to be able to be like, okay, let me give you this option, let me give you this option. Does this help? Does this help? And so just having them develop their own understanding of their learning while also developing their learning of the content. So it kind of goes both ways, and it's 2 ways that can really be helpful and are great ways to integrate through STEM. A lot of students tend to doubt themselves with STEM subjects, and so having this developed learning through their STEM education can really help just their learning in general, but then also how they feel about learning STEM subjects as well. So yeah, so that's that one. And then our final one, we have community partnerships that provide tutors, mentors, internships, and service learning experiences. Yay! Okay, so this one's really cool. Community partnerships is another really cool way to tie in that real world experience from the first one that we mentioned. It's just a really great way for students to see what's going on in the community around them, and to see that STEM subjects are directly related to something that's right outside their classroom door or something right outside their school building door. There's a wide range of this that is so cool for students to be able to work with and be a part of. And the best STEM teachers are able to find those opportunities and really put that in a form that students can understand and students can participate in. Not only is it fun for the students, but it's also like really great for the community also, because like you're helping the community, you're benefiting the community. Most of STEM subjects in some way, shape, or form relate to benefiting the community if you do a project on it. So it can be really great to have that as well. So provide tutors, mentors, and internships. I think for our lovely elementary school world, internships might not be the level that we're at, but I do think that tutors and mentors are a great way to help with STEM learning. I think that mentoring from 5th grade to 1st grade within an elementary school is great. I can just vision it of having 1st graders working on a STEM project and having 5th graders come in and guide some mentorship and guide some of their experience into the 1st graders project. I know we do that with reading sometimes, where they have reading pals and they go and read with each other. Why can't that happen with STEM as well? It's such a great way to have that connection, but then also for the 5th graders, having maybe high schoolers come in and show them their robots that they build in high school and all the crazy STEM things that they do in high school, to kind of help them through maybe they're building their own version of a robot at elementary level, and having high schoolers come in and really helping them with that experience of building a robot could be really, really cool. And like 5th graders think that high schoolers are the best thing since sliced bread. So, it works. It's fun for everybody. So, and then obviously tutors as well. It's a huge just career building and educational building tool to have tutors come into the classroom. Not every school is capable of doing that, but there's a lot that are, and definitely taking advantage of it if that's an option for whatever school you end up in. So that's those 3 service learning experiences. That again honestly just ties back into the real world experiences and real world connections. Anytime that anything is able to benefit the community around you and you're able to serve the community around you through STEM education is so cool, because not only does it actually benefit your community, but it shows people that STEM education is truly important and that it does have a lot of really great benefits. So that is those 3. I got all of this lovely information from, this was the main article that I had it from, which is a Edutopia article that has many researchers and so many other supports from it, and then also including the National Research Council in 2011 is a huge source of their theories and their practices that they listed in this article. So yeah, that's where I got that from. So just to wrap it all up, I want to thank you so much for listening to our lovely presentation that we've done for you today. I know that at the beginning we mentioned that we would possibly have an interview as part of our lesson. Unfortunately, our interviewee got sick kind of last minute, so we were not able to have our interview with her. So that's kind of sad, but she was, did feel really bad about it, but she was not feeling very well, so we didn't want to add extra stress to her. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed and learned so much about STEM education. We loved getting to share with you a little bit about what STEM is, about how to find the STEM standards, and the ideas for STEM activities. We had some awesome STEM activity ideas, so I hope you guys enjoyed those. And then just those last pedagogical practices of STEM, the best ways to teach them. So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening.